Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome back to the week of Who Would Win, and I have not moved from this spot since I did the last Who Would Win. That's just how committed I am. Or I'm pre-recording this. Choose your own adventure. Anyway, Joshua Guerrera asked the question, who would win the fight? Superman versus the Powerpuff Girls. Now, Superman, it's kind of beating a dead horse on Superman, but let's go over Superman, shall we? Kryptonian. Basically, his powers come from the yellow sun radiation that comes from our sun. He continually absorbs them to the point he doesn't even need to really eat or drink or even breathe air if he doesn't want to. His strength and upper limits are really completely unknown. We don't really know what his true limitations are. We do know there are limitations at some point. Like in the All-Star Superman comic and movie, while he was going past his limits, his body couldn't handle all. His body was dying. He was basically poisoned by so much solar radiation. So while it was increasing his strength, like he was lifting like 3 times his original max limit or something like that. He was like lifting six quintillion tons or something like that. His body was breaking in. There is now if he's like spends time in the sun for God knows how long, that's a different thing entirely. But there is, technically speaking, some sort of limit to his strength. Like he will consistently absorb radiation, but he can deplete his radiation stores as well in his body. Particularly with things like his heat vision or the solar flare, which will just completely drain all the solar energy out of his cells, pretty much make him human for 24 hours. The solar flare being kind of a nuclear bomb of some sort. Obviously, he can move faster than a speeding bullet. Truth be told, he can move fast enough to keep up. He's not faster than the Flash, but he can move at speeds that can at least keep up with the Flash on some level. He's also got the reflexes that match that. He does have some combat training in Kryptonian martial arts, pressure point training from Batman. He's fought with Wonder Woman before. He's not a really skilled... I mean, he's a competent hand-to-hand fighter, but most of the time when you actually see him, he's more a brawl. Not even a brawl. It's a bit more of a just rudimentary fighting style compared to someone who like Batman or Wonder Woman who have trained all their lives in hand-to-hand combat. Superman can fly, obviously. He's extremely durable, capable of taking basically supernovas to the face. He's God knows how powerful in terms of his overall capabilities in that regard. Obviously, he has heat vision. He has frost breath. X-ray vision, microscopic vision. He can apparently see your soul. That's a thing. He held a black hole in his hand one time. I'm trying to think, and that was post-crisis Superman, not pre-crisis. That was a Superman. Pre-crisis was a Superman that could blow up a solar system with a sneeze. For God's sake, Superman really just doesn't have any real weakness besides kryptonite. No immunity to magic, so magic affects him like it affects everyone else. And, excuse me, still getting over some acid reflux. And someone of comparable strength or greater power, like Darkseid and Doomsday, for instance, are characters that can physically go toe-to-toe and beat him in a straight fight. So he can lose a fight. He can. If he's out of the sun for too long, he will deplete his solar radiation quicker. And he just doesn't get it back because the sun's not up. Like how Doomsday ended up beating him is the fact that he was weak. He just couldn't absorb solar radiation at that time. And then you have the Powerpuff Girls, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. Blossom, she is the leader. Buttercup, she is the strongest. My dear Powerpuff saved the day. I watched Powerpuff Girls. Who didn't watch Powerpuff Girls? Come on. Mojo Jojo in him. You gotta love the Powerpuff Girls. Come on. As I'm the professor, and Sarah Bellum and the mayor. So, I mean, Blossom is the most level-headed. She is the leader for a reason. She does have, she had a frost breath, and then she kind of used it all up and turned into like a fire breath or something like that. Bubbles has like a sonic scream. I don't believe they've ever specified what Buttercup's specific trait was. So yeah, I'm not certain about that. I think they may all have a sonic screen, but I know Bubbles is the one that is really advertised with that. So yeah, they're all immensely powerful. They're capable of moving. They're capable of taking on like monsters the size of Godzilla on with ease. They can lift buildings without little difficulty. Durability wise, they're basically not. They can't be killed by relative means. Like your standard super villain. No, none of the, like acid doesn't hurt them. Most like blunt force trauma explosions doesn't hurt them. We've never seen them draw blood really at all. We've seen them get the crud kicked out of them a couple. Like the Rowdy Rough Boys are just as strong as them. I think her name is Princess. Wears that power suit. She pretty much beats up on Bubbles and Buttercup to some degree. So I mean, they're also not indestructible, but they've never really had an individual that goes up against them, test them physically on to that degree. And then I mean they've got they all have laser vision. I think at one point like one of them rubbed their hands together, pretty much like start like a fire of some or friction to create like flames. I mean, so they're different. One thing they'll have over Batman. One thing they'll have over Superman, though, is they'll have teamwork on their side. There's 3 of them versus 1 of him. So they do have that on their side. They also can fly at supersonic speeds and all that. So, really, first off, the fight's not going to end in a kill. Unlike some of the other fights, this is not a death battle! This is not a death battle. This is just, who would win doesn't always have to result in death. It just has to result in a victory and a loss. So let's say, I don't know, Superman went through comic book shenanigans, winds up in the city of Townsville. And, the Powerpuff Girls are told there's someone flying. Superman's just like, what's going on? And, now it's actually, you know what? I bring this up. Is it implied that the Powerpuff Girls do exist in the DC universe? Because in one episode they go up against essentially a female, like the Catwoman-esque character, a female robber, and they beat her and kidnap her, and then she appeals to their sense of female empowerment. It's like, how many female superheroes really are there? And you'll notice they only mention DC heroes. Now, if they had mentioned Marvel heroes, then I could just say they're just referencing comic books. But they talk about Batgirl and Supergirl. They're just they are lesser versions of them, or just carbon copies of their male counterparts, something like that. And then she goes, "There's Wonder Woman." And it's like, she's right. There is no one else. But I'm like, well, wait. There is Captain Marvel. There's also Power Girl too. But there is Captain Marvel. There was Black Widow. At the time, she wasn't as big, but still, there's Captain Marvel. Storm, Rogue. You can make arguments for a couple more in the Marvel universe, but they only mention DC characters. Is it possible that the Powerpuff Girls do exist in the DC universe? Let me know about that, because that rattled my mind a little bit too. It's like, do they exist in the DC universe? Maybe. Let's hypothetically say they do, but they exist in like a different version of it. That's why the Superman is fighting them, for instance. So he's not used to this, and he's like, Superman, what are you doing? He's like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I don't know who you girls are. And then, through different shenanigans, the girls say, oh, right, you're clearly out of control. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, I'm taking him on. And Buttercup will be the one who really wants to take on Superman, probably more than anything, to test herself against Superman of all people. It's like, whoa. And then, Superman just dodging, because it's a kid. It's like, whoa, come on. And then, he tries to block him, and he realizes, whoa, she's got power. And he actually gets flown back. Don't you underestimate me? Yeah. And then, hits him. He makes him fly back. Okay. Time to take this a bit more seriously. And then she goes in. He just catches her and then just kind of boom, taps her. She goes flying back. Ooh, sorry about that, kid. And then, Bubbles and Blossom both come in. And then Buttercup kind of basically gets out of smoke and, they fire laser beams. Maybe Blossom tries to free Superman. He just cracks out of there. And now Superman's dealing with 3 superpowered little girls who have, like, serious super strength. Not like just Colossus or just or Captain America level of super strength. But serious, like, here's the thing. I don't think they're as strong as Superman overall. Not that level of super strength, but think of someone like, trying to think of a good example of super strength. Like a Goku level super strength. Goku's strength level, like just his base form or just overall strength, can't compare to Superman's. It just can't. But he can still move a building if he had to. He can still throw a punch and knock a monster out. That, I think, is the kind of super strength you'd actually look at with the Powerpuff Girls. And that's not including multipliers from the Super Saiyan forms, all that crap. So that it's a different scenario there when you think about it. So with 3 basically versions of mini kid female Goku, they're coming out, and they've had enough experience fighting that they can definitely keep up and throw punches. They're still kids though. They've been doing it not very long. They're like maybe a year. They're still in, I think, the same grade. It's kind of like a Simpsons form. So at best, they haven't been doing it for more than maybe a year or so. Superman, however, has got decades worth of experience, so he's still able to keep up with them more or less, but he's actually having to try here. And every now and then, they'll use their teamwork to get a good couple solid punches and licks in on him, and he goes flying. Eventually, though, Superman's just going to say, screw it, and immediately just rushes in, grabs 2 of them, throws them at each other, uses his super breath to freeze them in place. I guess he can be Buttercup and Bubbles. And then Blossom and him just kind of face off. Blossom is throwing the best punches he can, using maybe her ice breath. He just uses heat beams. Ultimately, what happens? Well, Superman's going to win this. Superman has pretty much a nigh infinite stamina. With the sun gone, that'd be different. But we've seen the Powerpuff Girls get tired before. We've seen them go, need to catch their breath and things along those lines. Superman, unless he's going up against someone who can actually hurt him and possibly kill him, or, against anyone with a power like that. Like Wonder Woman can do it. Batman and some of his suits can do that. Darkseid, Doomsday, Lobo. These are characters that can push Superman to his limits and actually cause him to be tired out and, be huffing and puffing to some degree. The Powerpuff Girls, no. I think if the fight went on long enough, maybe, but Superman's not going to let the fight go on very long. These are girls. He doesn't want to hurt them, but they're powerful enough that they can actually hurt him on some level. So they're clearly confused about the scenario going on, so he's not going to let the fight drag out any longer than he has to. He's going to put him down and put him down hard. He's not going to kill them, but if he has to rough him up just a little bit, he'll do it. Ultimately, Blossom probably tries to throw one last punch, and Superman's just like, okay, that's enough, and then just kind of just knocks her out, just boom, and just, it's like, okay, and then they'll wake up, and eventually Superman will be there to wait, and it's like, what, you bitch, why aren't you doing this? Because I want to explain that I'm not trying to do anything wrong here. And then they're just like, what? And it's like, yeah, look, kids. Like, hey, where are the power? Okay, girls, whatever. Ultimately, yeah, Superman's going to win the fight. Is there a way the girls win? Well, the girls definitely would give Superman a solid fight. Just because one of them alone is able to at least keep up with Superman when he's not going all out. Who's holding back, as Superman would do. Them together, all 3 of them, they would give him a solid fight, but I don't really see any way they legitimately win against Superman. The only way I can see them winning against Superman is if the fight took place at night and Superman had basically just started to lose his energy quicker and quicker. Problem is that with Doomsday, Doomsday was actually really dishing out to Superman and ended up killing Superman, temporarily speaking. Girls, I don't think, would deal enough damage for that to work. Otherwise, unless Kryptonite somehow gets involved, or unless one of them somehow knows magic, which none of the girls, I think, do. Ultimately, I can't say that there's really a way for the Powerpuff Girls to win. So in this fight, unfortunately, it's 100% Superman's favor. Unfortunately, Superman just completely trumps the girls in the long term. But again, I think it would be actually a pretty solid first round of the early stages of the fight. I think the girls would actually put up a solid fight against him. It's just he's Superman in this case. And in this case, being Superman means you can't beat him. The girls can't beat him anyway. They're just not a level of power they're just not on the same tier as Superman. Hell, I used Goku as a strength comparison, and they're not even on the same level as Goku, which is weird because if you know my ultimate thoughts on that fight, you know how I thought the Goku and Superman fight actually should have gone. I've had 2 versions of that. One, before they really got into the meat of Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue and Ultra Instinct. and then the one after, and then the version of the fight where it's after the Tournament of Power, where we have Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, and Ultra Instinct. So my ultimate thoughts on that is in that video, the Ultra Instinct Super Saiyan Blue. Basically, Dragon Ball Super Goku, whereas the one I was using initially was Goku at Super Saiyan 4. So I have two versions of that fight. Spoilers, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch past here. I do think Goku actually does ultimately win the fight, but it's a hard-ass fight for him to win. Superman is no joke. Let's be clear about that. Superman's not a universal being or doesn't have universal levels of power. Goku isn't a universal being, but he does have universal levels of power. And that did help push the fight. And there's other things too. Watch the video if you really want to know. Anyway, there's my little spoiler warning there. But yeah, strength, they're more comparable, at least physically, to Goku than they are to Superman or Wonder Woman or something like that. And to be fair, that's not to say I think Wonder Woman would beat Goku or Goku would beat Wonder Woman. That's a different versus entirely for a different time for someone to suggest. I've got plenty of other suggestions. I don't actually really need to go that route if I don't want to. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I think Superman wins 100% of the time. But what do you think? Do you think they're here? When I do 100% of the time wins, I really do enjoy hearing people's thoughts on this. Do you think there is a legitimate way the Powerpuff Girls win the fight, like straight out win the fight? Or do you think I'm right in the Superman winning the fight? Or do you think there's even a way they win the majority, or at least win a 1% time? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, though. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, superhero, magic, what if, anything I do on the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. There will be more who would win throughout the week. I will probably, this is technically being pre-recorded for Monday because I schedule changed up. I actually have it now on Monday through Friday shift. I will try to pre-record Wednesday. I'll do my best to pre-record Wednesdays and Wednesdays who would win and what if. Oh, and there's a Death Battle prediction coming up too because the Death Battle comes out this week. I would put it. I'm not going to. If I were to bet someone, dollar says the next who would win or next Death Battle is going to be Aquaman versus Namor. At the very minimum, it's going to be Aquaman. I think it's going to be Aquaman versus Namor because Aquaman is coming out. And they did that at the end when Wonder Woman and Thor and Wonder Woman came out. They did Thor versus Wonder Woman. When Black Panther was coming out, they did Black Panther versus Batman. They do that. They do happen to do that. And when a high-profile film is coming out, they will have a death battle featuring that character. Which begs the question, when Avengers 4 comes out, whatever it's titled, I'm hearing rumors it might be called The Last Avengers, which that's actually not a bad. I like that title. Sort of Avengers Annihilation, which isn't a bad one either. Secret Avengers, nah, that doesn't make any sense. Avengers Assemble, honestly, doesn't work as a title for me. But I like Last Avengers and Avengers Annihilation. I think that's actually pretty good. Actually, if I were to bet one of those, I think Last Avengers is the more likely one. But I'm wondering, they didn't do it for Infinity War, but you think we may finally get the Thanos versus Darkseid video come maybe later on in the next year? Who knows? Until then, I'm looking forward to seeing Master Roshi versus Jiraiya, the Galleon tonight. No, I can't remember. Jiraiya the Galleon, as he was called. Anyway, Galleon. I digress. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed.